to call Father to the service. We thank you for the citizens that come to support the family. And Lord, it is our desire to serve our citizens, to do the right thing for our citizens, and do right before God and man. We ask your blessing now as we go through this program. We thank you, Lord, for your goodness and your mercy again. We ask your blessing as we go from this day forward. Then bless all of these under the sound of my weak voice right now. The blessing they might stand in need of. These blessings and all other blessings we ask. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everyone to our meeting this Monday, December 4th, 2023, 6 p.m. We have a conference line set up. The number there is 1-917-900-1022. Access code is 32347 #. This is not a toll-free number, and you may be subject to long-distance charges according to your long-distance plan. When the chairperson opens the meeting for public comment, please follow the below instructions. If you wish to speak, please dial *5. The moderator will unmute your line when it's your turn to speak and notify you by announcing the last 4 digits of your telephone number. Please announce your name and address, and you'll be allowed to speak for 3 minutes. Any person wishing to address the board regarding an agenda item will be given 3 minutes for comment. A commenter may only speak 1 time for each agenda item. That said, we'll move to number 3. Would everyone have a notice that we would remove item number 10?
Yes.
Motion to approve the revised agenda.
Have a motion and a second to approve our revised agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, awards recognition from before the board to present the 2023 Citizens of the Year Award to Gary and Norma Holden in appreciation of their many years of service to the citizens of Taylor County. I'll turn it over to Commissioner Spiegel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You know, we sit here meeting after meeting and year after year, but tonight's event is one of the proudest moments in my 13 years as being a county commissioner. Sometimes you just know when something is the right thing to do, and tonight we're doing just that. But I was thinking about what I would say. The first thing I thought about was, well, where do I begin? There's so much to say. So I was thinking, do I begin with, these are extraordinary people who were raised by extraordinary parents? Or these are God-fearing people who put Jesus first? Or these are the most caring and unselfish people you will ever meet? Or they are always there when needed? Or they started the Shady Grove Volunteer Fire Department over 30 years ago and have left their dinner table or got out of
Over 40.
over 40 now. Well, we don't want to miss that. So over 40 years that they've left their dinner table, they've got up in the middle of the night to go to fight a fire or to help with a wreck or tend to someone in a crisis. And they are still doing that to this day. Or they might be just a little bit crazy. Or that Norma is someone who will pray with you in a heartbeat. And she always assures you that God has a plan and that things will be better. Or that they exemplify what it means to be the best community volunteers, neighbors, citizens, friends, and family. And I'll tell you, This list could go on and on. I could say a lot more. But I'm just very proud of this moment that we can recognize Norma and Gary. But at this time, what I would like to do is I would like to read a letter to the editor that was written by my friend Morris Steen. He wrote this letter on September the 10th of this year. It says, "Dear editor, often during times of crisis in communities, leaders emerge from within those communities who bring calm, healing, relief, and solutions to tragedy and disaster that cause the crisis. On the morning of August the 30th, 2023, in our small community of Shady Grove, in the northern sector of Taylor County, Florida, hundreds of people stepped forward to lend a helping hand to their neighbors in need when Hurricane Idalia, a Category 3 hurricane, slammed head-on into our county and community. It was indeed a miraculous event to witness, but leadership in the names of Norma and Gary Holden sit at the very top. For the past 2 weeks, they personally organized and led the relief efforts in the Shady Grove, Lakeburg, Pleasant Grove, Eridu, Boyd, Sermons, Mosley Hall, and Idu communities and beyond. Their efforts have touched so many people. They coordinated and organized hot meals served at the community center, and the incredible supply of disaster relief items that kept flowing in. They organized the hot showers at a local market parking lot. Norma personally cooked hot meals in her home to serve those in need, and she and Gary visited people in their homes, checking on them. They left no stone unturned in their personal relief efforts to ensure everyone was safe and taken care of. We have known the Holdens all of our lives, and Norma and Gary are not new names in our community. We knew their parents. They lived directly across from the volunteer fire department in Shady Grove and have been in charge of its daily operations. He says for the past 38 years, but I've been corrected.
It's 38, I know it's 38.
38. They single-handedly kept the fire department open through the years when closure seemed to be the only option. Norma and Gary have a true servant's heart that was certainly evident during the greatest crisis in our community in most of our lifetimes. They are the angels God placed in our community for this particular event. It is without hesitation we recommend and nominate Norma and Gary Holden as Taylor County Citizens of the Year for 2023. Sincerely, Morris and Judy Steen, Shady Grove residents. Mr. Chair?
Thanks. Anyone else on the board? Have anything you want to say? Anyone from the board? I will say, you know, this is a little closer to me being family. Growing up as a kid, you know, family functions, those radios, they were loud. The radios go off. I watched them carrying that mama leave many family functions to go to a wreck, a fire, or whatever it might have been. When that radio went off at that family function, it got quiet. It really wasn't for them to hear, because everybody else wanted to hear what was going on too. So, you know, a lot of times, you know, a lot of families, you know, they probably hung around a little bit longer, so whenever they got back, hey, what happened, what went on? So, you know, not only, you know, with the, you know, volunteer fire and during the storm, you know, I recognize, you know, they have been, you know, a big, you know, county support system in other areas, not, churches and just different events, so it's a well-deserved honor. So, at this time, like we do want to get down with everybody else, have anything, did any of the citizens, did anyone here that want to get up, anything they want to say?
Come on, y'all.
Anyone, come on, just stand up where you are, you
I just want to say that they are the best neighbors ever. Them and Mr. Hamp, wonderful people.
I would like to say, it's just, this is so humbling, y'all. There's so many other people that deserve this, but, it's been an honor to serve such a great community, and, firefighting, I can't even begin to tell you, once you're in it, it's in your blood, you don't get out of it. So I guess when I'm 80, I'm gonna be running that fire truck, 'cause I fought fire right alongside my 91-year-old daddy.
That's right.
We fought fire by ourselves sometimes. I still got his gloves. Yeah, we started with a garden hose on our 100-gallon truck. But, we're honored, and thank y'all so much. And, we've been blessed. Thank y'all.
Well, you know, Norma, I expected you to, and I'm surprised she didn't say, I don't deserve this. I'm very surprised you didn't say that, but y'all are the most deserving, and I wish every community had a Gary and a Norma Holden. And Hannah, you did a good job raising these children.
Yes, you did.
Anyone else from the public?
I just want to say, when Dawn and I moved to Shady Grove, or Lake Burden, about 38, 40 years ago, they were very, very welcoming and made us feel at home immediately. And I remember Dawn was a volunteer, and our boys were little boys at the time, and he'd get up in the middle of the night and go help. And they started it, and we were so thankful for that, and they've helped so many people. And I know that Norma has literally responded and gone to fires by herself. It just blows my mind. She's such a courageous woman. And I appreciate so much all of your family, because every one of you are good people, and you're wonderful. Thank you for doing so much for our community.
Anyone else? Go ahead, Mr. Smith.
I'd just like to take this opportunity to thank the commission for recognizing this family that does so much for the community, not just in hurricanes, but on a day-in, day-out basis. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Lee.
That's right.
Anyone else?
I'll say something real
Go
quick.
for it. I knew you could.
And there's no way to say it real quick, but I'm gonna do it real quick. It's hard to give cliff notes on 40-something years, but, they've always been the best example of what to be. And once again, our grandparents set the groundwork, and pretty awesome aunts and uncles back here too. We could have really filled this place up, but we tried not to overwhelm them. But from an early age, that was a highlight for my brother and I. My sister come along a lot later, but those 3 a.m. phone call beeps when they take off, our adrenaline would start just running crazy, and our job, my brother and my job, was to run across the street and open the doors and get the fire truck. And you don't realize it until you're my age looking back now, when you watch your parents drive away in the fire truck and the lights and siren. We didn't care if they were going to get a cat out of the tree. Please run lights and siren all the way. Wake the whole town up. This is awesome. And Grandma would always come over and sit up with us until they came home. And sometimes it would be, the next morning, because they fought fire all night. But anyway, it was always a great testament to see them serve the community. But as soon as when the hurricane hit, I belong to them, so they're my priority. Even though I love the community that I come from, my first thing was to get down there, because these two people was not going to eat and sleep until they took care of y'all, the community. So my husband and I said, they don't care about power. They don't care about food. This one just goes into beast mode. And so we brought the generator to their house, and we kept it oiled up and kept food going at their house, because she and he would not rest while there was needs in the community. So, for that, you have to know it was just day and night, of them on the phone and trying to, but I worked a farm show, the Ag Expo in Moultrie, Georgia this year, and a customer came up to me that knew him and said, "Let me tell you about Larry Holden." Well, that could go either way. The rest of that story. I said, "Lord, what has my daddy done now?" And he said, "I'm gonna tell you what, the morning after the storm, all my family was out there. We were cutting trees, clearing the roadways to get to the house." And he said, "And here comes a truck down the driveway." And we said, "Well, Lord, they can't nobody get down this driveway. Who is that?" And he was maneuvering around all the trees, and he said, "Lo and behold, it was your daddy." And he showed up with a dozen donuts wanting to feed us. And he said, I said, "Well, Gary, there's trees all over your house too. What you bringing us donuts for?" But he said that my mama cried when he left and said, "You know, they got a mess over there at their house, and they coming over here with donuts and coffee at our house." And she said, "That's something." And so that resonated. It was donuts. That's all it was donuts. But it mattered. It mattered in that moment that donuts was a ministry that morning when everything just felt hopeless. And that's what they are to me too. They've always been a light in a dark world and taught us to be that same way. So I'm grateful and thankful for the community, for y'all to love on them like this and show them the appreciation that you're showing them. I'm partial, but I am thankful too that they stepped up and that they continue to step up.
Anyone else? All right, no one else? We do have a plan. You want to present, so y'all get up, come forward. Oh, Commissioner Sharp, with one. All right. Congratulations.
Thank y'all so much. Thank y'all.
We appreciate it.
Everybody come around, we'll get a picture with all the commissioners, and then we'll get family up here as well. Come on, let's go.
Go ahead.
I realize there's probably a lot of cameras, but if y'all look at me first, we've got to grab a couple, and then we'll 3, 2, 1, and smile. All right, I'll get over to everyone's way.
All right, any family coming up? Congratulations. All right, open it up. I know y'all want pictures.
Right across from Mr. Ham. Yeah.
Any questions?
That's a good one.
Come on, we'll sit way back. Y'all ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
One more. Make sure I can see everybody. Don't move.
There you go.
3, 2, 1.
Okay.
Y'all want some donuts?
We should appreciate you guys. Thank you for all you do for us. I'm good.
I meet you at the mailbox every now and then.
Yes, sir.
Move on down to our consent item. Does everyone have a chance to go over your consent item? Any other discussion? Motion to approve our consent item, is there a second?
I would like to talk to you a little bit about the agreement. On page 24, item mediation engagement, guys, parts, that's on 4, subsection C. The terms of this agreement and any dispute relating thereto will be governed by the laws of the state of Florida. Any litigation will be brought in the state or federal court in Tallahassee, Florida. And you agree to submit the exclusive jurisdiction of the state and federal courts located in Fort Leon County, Florida. Now, let's go to page 25, section 29, and the last part of that section. It's about, let's see, state voter. The parties have selected the Second Judicial Circuit, Leon County, Florida, as the mandatory and exclusive forum for resolving no dispute in law or equity that arises out of the relationship of the parties and transactions. By signing this agreement, the recipient, that's y'all, affirms that the recipient considers the Second Judicial Circuit to be a fair and convenient forum for any legal action or other proceeding of any kind designed to resolve such a dispute. The recipient will not initiate in any other form a legal action or other proceeding to which this provision applies. And I wrote that in my letter to y'all, or to Luanda. It doesn't make sense. I mean, it's not consistent. You know, you either are or you ain't. On one page they're saying that you can end up going to federal court, which they say we don't have to. So I would suggest if you pass this with the proviso that they correct this on their agreement. In other words, well, y'all are, and I don't like the stuff that's saying that you think that they'll be fair. That's just surplus on it, but I'm not gonna complain about that, but they need to get that right. In other words, that it's gonna be, you know, we always have to agree to it being in Leon County and the Second Circuit, you know, and if you're gonna get the funds, because they won't budge on that, but this time they went too far by not reading their own agreement,
We need to make that motion with the correction that you.
I can,
Well,
I'll tell you what to say.
you're
Okay,
referring,
all right.
well, hold on, you're referring to item number 8.
Yes, yes.
So, yeah, we asked about the motion was to approve the consent item, so do we need to rescind the motion and then kind of focus on item number 8 here?
Well, what we generally do is you just remove 8 of the consent items, and the amendments is you approve the other 5, 6, 7, and 9, and not 8, and then we'll go forward with that.
I would say that part of your motion would need to just be
5, 6, 7, 9.
approving consent items all day.
Yes.
Yeah, second.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve all of our consent items except item number 8. All in favor? Aye. All right, so we want to deal with number 8 now?
My suggestion to Ms. Luanda would be to contact them and say, you know, we'll agree to section 29, but we're not agreeing to that other one because it's inconsistent. If you have any problem with it, let me know. Thank you.
All right, so we have a, do we need a motion
move. Or we condense what
We'll
the
have
attorney says.
have a motion, contingent on Bishop's direction. Do we have a second?
I'll say it.
Second, all in favor? All right. Number 10 was removed. We're moving to number 11. The board to hold a public hearing set for this date at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as possible to discuss and receive public input for the construction of a sidewalk from Plantation Road to US Highway 19, agendaed by Melanie Cox, grant writer.
Hey, everybody.
Hey, Melanie.
The funding cycle is currently open for the Transportation Alternatives Grant Program. We normally submit 2 applications each year. Last board meeting, we discussed the possible projects that we would like to submit. And one of the projects was a sidewalk from Plantation Road to US 19. We just need public input and your approval to move forward.
All right, thank you, Melanie. This is a public hearing, so we'll open this up to the public at this time. Anyone from the public have any comments on this construction of the sidewalk on Plantation from Old Dixie to Highway 19? Anyone from the public? Anyone on the line? All right. There's no one from the public, no one on the line. We will close the public hearing. Have any items of discussion on this from the board?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Beverly. Some good far. 12.
Here.
The board to hold a public hearing set for this date at 6:15 or as soon thereafter as possible to discuss and receive public input for the construction of a sidewalk on West Ash Street from Miller Road to US Highway 19, agendaed by Melanie Cox, grant writer.
This is also a transportation alternative, the second project that was discussed. It's a sidewalk from West Ash Street from Miller Road to US 19. We need to receive public input, and I need your approval to move forward with grant submission. And we also need to determine which of the 2 projects, if you approve this one, would be your priority. We've got to designate which one would be our priority project.
Got it. Thank you, Melanie. This is a public hearing. We will open it up to our public at this time. Anyone from the public have any comments on the sidewalk construction on West Ash Street from Miller Road to Highway 19? Anyone from the public? All right, no one on the line. We will close the public hearing. Any discussion from the board?
Motion to approve?
Have a motion to approve. We have a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Also, Melanie mentioned, she needs to prioritize the 2 items, so if somebody want to make to put one, will prioritize, really.
I'd like to see them tie the sidewalks together myself.
Do you want to prior to make a,
19 over, like, down by the plantation over the fell.
yeah, well,
I'd like to have that number 1 if we could.
yeah, well, it would be from Southside Park to
Right.
19, right there in front of Goodman's.
Right. It already goes from, the west, the road out to the park. All we need to do is just tie it in from the park to the house. Now, to give people a lot of people use that walking, they walk all the way. And I mean, it really makes a circle. People ride their bikes down and walk that circle.
Is
Everyone,
that your motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Second.
all right, we have, not only we've got a motion to, make, number 1 item being the, Plantation Road from Old Dixie Highway to 19. I'll, have a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Thank you.
thank you. 13, the board to hold a public hearing set for this date at 6:20 p.m. or soon thereafter as possible to discuss and receive public input for the FDOT shared used non-motorized Sun Trail grant program for Taylor County Coastal Trail 10 along State Road 51 to Dark Island on County Road 361, agenda by Melanie Cox.
We discussed this project last board meeting where the funding cycle is currently open for the Sun Trail. It is a very quick turnaround on this grant, so we recommended last board meeting that we apply for the planning and feasibility study phase of this project to be able to move forward and go back possibly next year for the actual construction dollars. You asked us to confirm that it would not have an impact on the current Sun Trail grant, which is from Osceola along 98 to US 19 to Fennel. And Kenneth did immediately contact FDOT the following day, and it will not have a negative impact on that current project at all. So there will be no negative impact.
Very good.
So we need public input and your approval to move forward with this project. And I also want to indicate on all three of these that we're discussing tonight, there's no match or money required from the county.
Good. Thank you, Melanie. All right, so the public hearing, we'll open up to the public. Any comments on this Sun Trail from General around Steamhatchee to Dark Island?
Yes, my name is Michelle Curtis, and I'm very supportive of this trail. I encourage the board to approve it. You know, what I've seen at the beaches is the current trails that are open are used a lot. People really enjoy walking, riding their bicycles, and that kind of thing, and it's just a great thing. And I think a trail of this nature, we might have, you know, bike races there one day, or running races there one day as part of our events. And so I'm very much supportive of this trail.
Anyone else in the public? All right, no one else on the line, we'll close the public hearing. Any discussion from the board?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve this item, all in favor? Aye. Right, thank you, Melanie.
Thank you so much.
Hospital items, 14, the board to consider approval of request for proposed improvements enhancement to Dr. Memorial Hospital Emergency Room, agenda by Lauren
Basin Clark.
Clark.
It's a long one, sorry.
CEO of Dr. Memorial Hospital.
Got rid of the interim. I told you I was sticking around.
All
So,
right, good work.
I appreciate the opportunity to come before you guys. Before I start, I just wanted to thank both Wanda and Marcia and your continued support, helping us with some capital purchases. We have a brand new oven, thanks to you all. Everybody in the community is very happy about that, as well as some enhanced patient monitoring equipment that's really going to help us elevate our level of care. So I know we've been working you guys hard, and I really appreciate that. The good news is we're not here to ask for money. I have my board chair, Pat Arbery, here with me as well. But we want to share with you an exciting opportunity that we have and ask your permission to make some improvements to your building at the hospital. We're always looking for other funding sources and always looking for grants and other opportunities. And for example, we just recently installed a brand new CT machine over the entire project. It was about $1 million, and that was through Federal CARES Act money. This machine is nicer than the one at my former employer at TMH. We just had someone come look at it that works at Shands and said it's a nicer machine than the one that's at Shands. So this is going to allow us to do first-class imaging, including cardiac CTs, where we slow your heart rate down and take images of your heart in between beats, so that you can really diagnose an advanced diagnosis of what's going on in the heart. People have to travel for this imaging now, and now we'll be able to provide that locally. But this grant opportunity is through the Department of Health, and there's some slides up there. Last year, we're very thankful that the governor's budget finally funded the Rural Hospital Capital Improvement Grant. This has been a placeholder for these monies in the legislative budget for years, but it's always sat at a balance of zero. And $10 million was put in last year, and DMH, because we are rural and and critical access, we're receiving part of those funds. So we wrote a grant application to do some improvements to our emergency room. If you've been in there recently, you can see that she's over 20 years old now and needs some improvements. So that's $523,600 that we received. The project goals include creating at least one behavioral health room that keeps patients safe. Many times we have patients who need to go to an inpatient psychiatric unit, and we need a room where we can keep them safe while we're holding them and getting them to that location. There's very advanced doorknobs and fixtures and things where people cannot hurt themselves while we're holding them, and without a lot of security staff, we're in need of that, so we're gonna make sure and provide those requirement enhancements. As well, environmental factors that may impact infection prevention. There's some places where our floor is buckling, paint's chipping, we've got some repairs that need to happen on the walls. We want to make our ER more efficient by improving our patient throughput, having some additional triage areas so people that may have lower acuity issues can get in and out much quicker, and really help separate the patients that way. And increasing our patient and staff safety, and ultimately our patient and family satisfaction. We know people choose places that they feel are clean and safe and modern, and we've got some improvements that need to happen. So one of the things, I just brought a few examples. I've got a very long document with lots of pictures, but one of the things we're working on is the entryway. There's tile around this non-slip pad that we noticed during the hurricane. When it gets wet, it's very, very slippery. We also need to secure those doors. They did not. The wind was so intense during the hurricane. At one point, we actually had our security person holding those doors shut. So we need to put some additional enhancements on those doors to make sure they stay shut. The lobby, we want to do some upgrades. That's not a very patient-friendly receiving room. We want to put a big registration desk where we can take vitals as soon as the patient walks in. There's a place for them to sit. We can receive them, get from behind the glass, still allow for some security measures, but make sure that it's a more welcoming environment and we can tend to patients much quicker. New flooring, things like that. The next slide shows you in our triage area where patients first come before they're seen by a physician. The floor is very dated. There's a lot of extra cabinets and equipment in there. It's very cluttered. Again, we want to make it much sleeker and really improve some of the aesthetics in that room. And then there's our patient rooms. There's a lot of cabinetry in these rooms. If you are over 6 foot and you lay on a patient bed, you are kicking the glass walls that are the doors that are in those rooms. We want to cut out a lot of this extra cabinetry. You can see in the picture the monitoring. We want to wall mount all of our monitoring so you can work on a patient and get to them much better. If we have a patient that codes in those ER room, you can barely get a nurse and a doctor around that patient to do compressions and do the important work they need to do. So we just really want to clean it up, get everything up on the walls, make more room so we can take better care of our patients. The nurses station in the middle of the ER has definitely shown its age. That is a hub of activity every day and every night. The cabinets, again, there's a lot of extra cabinetry, there's a lot of wear and tear on that. Again, want to mount some equipment around there, but just really making a more efficient workspace for the staff. You can 4 or 5 nurses back there and a doctor, they're bumping into each other and hitting cabinets, and so we'll still maintain the integrity of the nurses station, but just make it a little sleeker and redo the part in the middle where you see the countertops are all worn. And then, like I mentioned, with behavioral health safety, this just shows you some examples of the type of bedding and door handles and things that are in a room where we need to keep a patient safe. So with your approval, we can move forward. This is one of those funding projects where they want to get the money spent, so they're willing to advance us 75% of the money so we can get to work on this. If you approve, then we'll take it forward to the Agency for Healthcare Administration for our plan for approval. We'll bid the work and we'll complete the work. We had an architect out last week to look at the space, and luckily right now we haven't reopened the ICU yet, so we'll be able to use those ICU patient rooms as temporary ER beds while we're doing renovations, whether we do it in 2 phases or do it all at once. That's what we're looking at right now. So hopefully we can do it very quickly and get the work done. I also wanted to mention, hopefully you saw in the paper on Friday, thank you for the great coverage, our new medical director, Dr. Colby Renfield. He is a double-boarded EMS and ER physician, which is a very rare find. He is now our medical director, and he is really helping to elevate the quality of care in the ER. Now we want to get the environment to match that, and we hope to have a grand reopening once all this work is done and really celebrate the work that we're doing in our emergency services. So with that, do you all have any questions?
Yes, ma'am. You said, first thing you said is something about equipment that could slow the heart rate down.
Yes.
Well, you got anything to pick it up if you need to?
There's some great medicine that does that right for you, yes, sir.
Just wanted to slow it down, you had to pick it
We can
up.
get it right back up, yes, sir. But it's actually, I mean, it's a very complicated procedure that we do. We've engaged a really great tech, and enticed her to come work in Perry, and, so we're excited about having her expertise, because it's not something you do, not anybody can do that, but it's a very good point.
Very good. All right, we no other discussion from the board, request a motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and a second to approve this item, all in favor?
Thank you very much.
Public request 15. Kirk Jones to discuss hurricane demolition crash and removal in certain areas and Steve Hatch's drainage improvement issue.
I don't see Mr. Jones. I had a conversation with him maybe last week. I can reach out to him to see if our conversation answered his questions or if he would like to reschedule.
Got it. Okay. So, we'll move on to county administrator item 16. The board consider approval of letter of support to the Swanee River Water Management District, presented by county administrator.
Based upon the board's wishes at the last meeting, I drafted a letter, and I'm just asking if you wish to amend the letter or if there are any changes that you wish to make. I think the board indicated, I know the board indicated you wish to send a letter. Does this meet your expectations, or do you wish to make any changes?
I'm good with the letter. I mean, we have any,
Have we let our attorney to that?
It's just a formal request, no, sir, but you have any input?
You got no problem.
Motion to approve.
Second.
have a motion and a second to approve this item, all in favor? Aye. 17, county administrator to provide update on opiate settlement funding and request approval of community health improvement plan committee as the advisory committee for funds received.
As I'm sure you recall, Mr. Bishop previously updated the board that Taylor County has received an additional opiate lawsuit settlement in the amount of approximately $156,000. Due to Taylor County's population, the funding has been transmitted to the NWLF Health Network. They will serve as the county's fiscal agent and also provide technical assistance for the required implementation plans and reporting for all of the opiate settlement funds. So we received $156,000. We currently have approximately $19,000 that we've received thus far. We're still waiting on the settlement amount from Walmart, and then there's a multi-year plan to receive these funds every year. Not the $156,000, but approximately $20,000 a year. Myself, Lauren Faison Clark, and Tanya Hobby recently participated in a conference call with NWF Health Network to discuss the process for expending these funds and learned that we must submit an implementation plan by January 8th so that the funding is expended by June 30th, the state's fiscal year end. We must also submit an expenditure plan for the remaining funding later in the year. The board had previously indicated that there should be an advisory committee to recommend a spending plan for all of the opiate settlement funding. So I would like to request that the Taylor County Community Health Plan members serve as this committee, as their representation would come from those agencies most impacted by the opioid crisis, and also the Community Health Needs Plan that was updated last year identified substance abuse and rehabilitation services as a priority. This committee could take up the matter in December, and then I would plan to bring plan back to the board the first meeting in January if the board approves. Also, Commissioner Fiegel has already volunteered to serve on this committee as the board representative. So if the board approves my suggestion to actually allow this committee to serve in this role, we can move forward pretty quickly and bring the plan back to the board the first meeting in January.
I'm to allow that to happen.
Have a motion a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Thank you.
County Administrator to discuss informational items.
I just wanted to remind the board that December 12th, next week, there is a joint workshop with the Taylor County School District and the Board of County Commissioners to further discuss redistricting. And then on the 19th, there is a short board meeting to approve invoices, and I think we have to receive one bid back that was already advertised.
Okay, very good. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
So I just,
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, if it's okay, I just wanna, just say that it's my understanding that, when we meet with, at a joint workshop with the school board, that, we'll have our tentative plan by then. And it's my understanding that if they agree with that, that's fine. If they don't, then they have the option to draw up their own districts, that they do not have to, be the same as ours.
I believe that's accurate, yes.
Yeah. Just want to clarify.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
It'd be confusing,
Yes, it would.
to the voters. Where do I go? You know,
Yeah. 19, comments and concerns from the public for non-agenda items. Anyone from the public?
Can you update us on what's going on?
Sure. You probably heard this already, so this, I won't come to the podium because there's only really two pieces of information. And that is, several parties have expressed interest in discussing the potential purchase of the pulp plant. They'd like to discuss it with Georgia Pacific. And Georgia Pacific has let the state know that they're preparing a package that they will give out to all of the interested parties probably within the month of December. And that's really all I know. Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else from the public? All right. No one on the line? County Board information line, Commissioner Freeman.
I just want to say thank you to this board for what we did tonight in terms of recognizing the holders. It definitely was the right thing to do. And as I said, it just makes your heart feel good. Thank y'all.
Mr. Dix.
Someone talked about the drive at Fort Capitol. I told them that was, I knew it was a county road, or county drive, and we got scheduled to be back.
So what we have in the budget for this fiscal year is the funding for the design. And then we'll see what the cost of that is and what that entails. And then we would ask the board for the funding to actually resurface the parking lot.
This has been going on for years, Wanda. I thought we decided to move with this a long time ago.
Yes, ma'am. I think we just have not had an opportunity to finish it, but I will try to make
Why is that, do we know?
Just time constraints and demands on our staff, but I'll see if I can prioritize it.
Yeah, it needs to be a priority because there's holes out there and people walk out there and, it seems to be, dangerous. And also we, but, a long time ago, we also talked about lighting, more lighting out there. And we also talked about improving the handicap space.
So the lighting was improved, and so
So
there
it's
was
good now all over out there where all the trees used to be?
well, so the lighting was approved within the parking lot. We did not add additional lighting where the trees are, if that's what you're referring to.
Well, we had talked about it several times years ago, Jim, Commissioner Lee, you may remember about, when they have events out there and people are walking all out there to the cars and it's dark and there's holes out there and stumps and, or at that time there was.
Now that it's cleared up, there's not as many trees out there, the lighting in the parking lot is improved. It's just a lot better if you ride through there at night, you can't see where on the back side, we're talking about maybe one day
paving that back street back there, and then we'll need some lighting there, because there's a lot of parking takes place on the back side too. But, so we get that parking lot fixed, if we really don't need to put no more light out there. I wouldn't think priority is getting that, you know, because there is holes people can step in and break their ankles and stuff like that, dark, they need a light on, you know, but they did fix the holes in the parking lot, it's a lot better, but it needs, the whole thing needs to be reworked.
Yeah, and I agree with that being a priority. I was just wondering about if we have adequate lighting, and I know we need more handicap spaces and, you know, there need to be improvements to that. I can attest to that.
But all in all, it's a lot better shape right now than a lot, you know, really is. It worked out real good with the festival and everything, we didn't really have no issue. Everybody got through it. I don't think anybody got hurt out there, but I heard that. Yeah, so, went good.
All right.
That's it.
Commissioner Newman? Commissioner Moody?
I want to say we, right at the point, Taylor County right now at the level of water issue. If we was to get 10 or 12 inches of rain right now, Taylor County be flooded again.
Oh, yeah.
We just need, we need, that's my prayer
I
for no more rain right now. We are right at the point, you know, and there'll be a lot of areas that get flooded if we get any more rain. So if people in the district probably going, it really hasn't settled in on everybody yet today. It's full, yeah. So, that's all
You know, it's not forecast to rain anymore this week, but it seems like to me, I remember the last time after the rain stopped in some areas, the water just kept coming in from somewhere.
What it is, everything's stocked up with all these tree tops and everything, so it's not gonna leave here in a hurry this time. All these creeks down all the way, Spring Creek, Woods Creek, all of them got trees down in them, just like that. It's gonna be here a while, it's not gonna be flowing out there no time soon, you know. You pass over hospital and turn down Dawson Strip Road, look at that, where Wilder Creek crosses the road, just like that. You get up there where Pepper Creek crosses the Dawson Strip Road, it's just like that. I mean, and Woods Creek, I mean, yeah. And all the way, you can cross the bridge down there on Bucket Road, you look south down the creek, trees in it just like that. So the flow is gonna be slowed down, all that stuff get rot out, and it'll take a year or so, you know, for it to rot out. But it is what it is, you know. That's all I got.
All right. I get a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
You have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Line muted.
You all right back here? Nice thing, spring warrior.
You mad about that? You ain't mad about that? Oh. Well, I'd say that'd probably be peaceful if you can. That could be a challenge. You doing okay? Good, good. Okay. Well, that's probably fair.
So the way in the bushes don't be.
I don't say that's a bad concept.
Tomorrow night at
It
Brentford.
makes for a bit less of a conflict if you have those kind of, common threads, let's call it. Right, well, I understand some of that turnover is a little more challenging than others, but that, you know, gets addressed. Yes, ma'am, come on along here. You just kind of understand those things coming and going, or I would say you do.